How are you guys doing? Today is Sunday, July 11th, 2021. I'm James Sims, and for this episode of The Elite, I'm going to review the Elite matchups and performances from yesterday, Saturday, July 10th, 2021. And of course, I'm going to preview everything that's going on today as we navigate through the world of sports one day at a time. Starting off in the NBA, Game 3 of the NBA Finals is tonight as the winners of the Western Conference champs, Phoenix Suns, now hold a 2-0 series lead over the third seed out of the East. Games 3 and 4 will be played in Milwaukee as Milwaukee looks to turn the tables. A win here could be very big for them and Giannis Antetokounmpo's legacy. That's everything that's going on in the NBA. Really quickly jumping on to see what's going out in the MLB. Starting off in Tampa Bay, the defending American League champs, Tampa Bay Rays, hosted the Blue Jays and were able to pull off a 5-2 win at home to pick up their 53rd win of the season. For the now Buffalo Blue Jays of Toronto, the start and the loss went to Ross Stripling as he allowed 4 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 5 batters on the day. With this loss, Ross Stripling is now 3-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit as their second baseman Marcus Semien would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 22nd home run of the season. For the Tampa Bay Rays, the start and the win went to Ryan Yarbrough as Yarbrough allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, striking out 4. With this win, Yarbrough is 6-3 on the season. The save went to their closer, Diego Castillo, as Castillo allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitched. That would be his 13th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their right fielder, Brandon Lau, will go 2 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 19th and 20th home runs of the season yesterday. And with this win, the Tampa Bay Rays are now 53-36. That is the second best record in the American League East as they have now won their last 6 games and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 1.5 games in the division, and they are now holding on to the top seed in the American League wild card as they now sit 3 games ahead of the second place Oakland A's. With this loss, the Toronto Blue Jays are now 44-42. That is the 4th best record in the American League East. They've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 9 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 4.5 games for that second wild card spot. Jumping out to Minneapolis, the Minnesota Twins hosted the Detroit Tigers, and the Twins were able to pull off a 9-4 home win over the Tigers. The Tigers were up 4-0 for the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning until the Twins scored all 9 of their runs in the 6th, 7th, and 8th innings to come from behind and win this game. For the Detroit Tigers, the start was given to Kyle Funkhouser. Funkhouser allowed no earned runs in 2.1 innings pitched as he struck out 2. The loss for the Tigers went to their 3rd relief pitcher on the day, Joe Jimenez. Jimenez allowed 3 earned runs in 0.2 innings pitched, and with this loss, he's 2-1 on the season after he blew his first save of the year. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Harold Castro, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. And then their shortstop, Zach Short, would end up going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his 3rd home run of the season for Detroit. For the Minnesota Twins, the start went to Bailey Ober. Ober allowed 4 earned runs in 3.1 innings pitched as he struck out 4. The win went to Minnesota's 3rd pitcher on the day, Danny Colomb. Colomb allowed no earned runs in a 1.1 inning pitched as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 1-0 on the season. In their batting lineup, their third baseman, Luis Arias, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Additionally, their elite designated hitter, Nelson Cruz, would go 3 for 3 with a run. With this win, the Minnesota Twins are now 38-50. That is the 4th best record in the American League Central as they've won their last 3 games and they've won 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 15 games in the division. With this loss, the Detroit Tigers are now 40-50. That is the 3rd best record in the American League Central. They've lost their last 3 games and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 14 games in the division, just to get a sense of where the Tigers are at this moment. Jumping out to San Francisco, the San Francisco Giants hosted the Washington Nationals. The Giants were able to pull off a 10-4 home win as they scored 8 of their 10 runs in the first 3 innings. For the Washington Nationals, the start and the loss went to former National League Cy Young winner Jon Lester. Lester allowed 3 earned runs in 2.2 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. With his loss, he's 2-4. In their batting lineup, their second baseman on the day, Alcides Escobar, would end up going 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He hit his first triple of the season. He was the only player on the Nationals with more than one hit. For the San Francisco Giants, on the other hand, the start and the win went to Anthony DeSclafani. He would allow no earned runs in 6 innings pitched, as he only allowed 3 hits. He struck out 6 batters on the day. With this win, he's 10-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Austin Slater, would end up going 2-for-6 with an RBI on the day. And then their shortstop, Brandon Crawford, would go 3 for 3 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. Crawford would end up hitting his 18th home run of the season, as he was a triple shy of the cycle. Their catcher, Joey Bart, would go 2 for 5 with an RBI and a run. And then their left fielder for the day, Tito Estrada, would end up going 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. With this win, the San Francisco Giants are now 56-32. That is the best record in the NL West. And win percentage-wise, that is the best winning percentage in all of baseball. They have now won their last 3 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now sit 2 games ahead of the defending champs, Los Angeles Dodgers, in the division. And just to give a sense of where the Giants are. And then they are holding on to the number 1 seed in the National League. With this loss, the Washington Nationals are now 42-46. That is the 4th best record in the National League East, as they've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 8 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 6 games in the division. Jumping out to Dallas, the Texas Rangers hosted the Oakland Athletics, and the Oakland A's were able to beat the Rangers 8-4 in the 11th inning, thanks to, of course, a lot of running wild pitching and then a 2-run home run from Steven Piscotty. For the Texas Rangers in this matchup, the start went to Mike Foltynewicz. He allowed 3 earned runs in 6.1 innings pitched, as he struck out 6. The loss would go to their relief pitcher their relief pitcher, Spencer Patton. Patton would allow 4 runs in .2 innings pitched, as he struck out a batter. With this loss, he's 0-1. In their batting lineup, their catcher, Jonah Heim, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. He was the only player on the Rangers with more than 1 hit. For the Oakland Athletics, the start went to James Kaprielian, as he allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched, striking out 4. The win went to the A's closer for the day, J.B. Wendelken. Wendelken would allow 1 run in 2 innings pitched, as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 2-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Ramon Laureano, will go 2 for 5 with an RBI. Their designated hitter, Jed Lowry, would end up going 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 9th home run of the season yesterday. Their right fielder, Seth Brown, will go 2 for 3 with an RBI and a run, as he hit his 10th home run of the season. With this win, the Oakland Athletics are now 51-40. That is the 2nd best record in the American League West. They've won 4 of their last 10 games, as they now trail the Houston Astros by 3.5 games in the division. And at the moment, they are holding on to the 2nd American League wildcard spot, as they now trail the Tampa Bay Rays by 3 games in the division, and they sit 2.5 games ahead of the Seattle Mariners, who are the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Texas Rangers are now 35-54. That is the worst record in the American League West, and that is the 2nd worst record in the American League. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, as they now trail the Houston Astros by 18.5 games in the division. Jumping out to Baltimore, the Baltimore Orioles hosted the Chicago White Sox. White Sox were able to pull off an 8-3 win on the road. For the Orioles in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Thomas Eshelman. Eshelman would go on to allow 4 earned runs in 2 innings pitched, as he struck out 1. With this loss, he's 0-2 on the year. In their batting lineup, their shortstop, Ramon Urias, would go 2 for 4. And then their second baseman for the day, Domingo Leyba, would end up going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs on the day. For the Chicago White Sox, the start and the win went to Lucas Giolito, as he allowed 2 earned runs in 5.1 innings pitched, as he struck out 9. With this win, he's 7-6 on the season, and the save would go to Liam Hendriks, picking up his 23rd of the season, their elite closer. He would allow no earned runs in 1.1 innings pitched, as he struck out 3. Like I said, he picked up his 23rd save of the season. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, reigning American League MVP, Jose Abreu, would go 2 for 4 with 2 runs. Their center fielder, Brian Goodwin, would go 4 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs, as he would end up hitting his 4th home run of the season. Their second baseman, Leury Garcia, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs. And then their third baseman, Jake Burger, would go 2 for 3 with a run. With this win, the Chicago White Sox are 53-35. That is the best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 4 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They now sit 7.5 games ahead of the second place Cleveland Indians, as they are currently holding on to the second seed in the American League win percentage-wise. With this loss, the Baltimore Orioles are now 28-60. That is the worst record in the American League East and the worst record in the American League. They've lost their last 3 games and 6 of their last 10, as they now trail the Boston Red Sox by 26 games in the division. Jumping out to New York, the New York Mets hosted the Pittsburgh Pirates for a doubleheader. And in the first matchup, the Pirates would beat the Mets 6-2 as they scored all 6 of their runs in the 4th through 7th innings. For the New York Mets in Game 1, the start and the loss went to Marcus Stroman. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, he's 6-7 on the season. In their batting lineup, the right fielder, Kevin Pillar, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI. He was the only player this game with more than 1 hit. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, however, the start and the win went to Tyler Anderson. Anderson allowed 2 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 2. In their batting lineup, their center fielder, Brian Reynolds, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He had his 16th home run of the season. And then their first baseman, John Nogowski, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs on the day. In the first, so like I said, after the Pirates would take the first win, and then the Mets would actually win the second game of this doubleheader to split the day. In their second game, the Mets would beat the Pirates 4-2. For the Pirates in Game 2, the start and the loss was given to the Pirates starting pitcher for the day, who in this matchup was Max Kranick. He allowed 3 earned runs in 3 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this loss, Kranick is 1-1. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, as their catcher, Jacob Stallings, went 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run, hitting his 7th home run of the season. For the New York Mets, however, the start was given to Tyler McGill. He allowed 1 earned run in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 7. The win went to their first relief pitcher, Juris Familia, as Familia allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitched. With this win, he's 4-1 on the season, and the save was given to Edwin Diaz. He struck out all 3 of the batters that he faced as he picked up his 19th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Jeff McNeil, will go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. He was the only player on the team with more than 1 hit. Their elite first baseman, Pete Alonso, will go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run as he hit his 17th home run of the season. With this split series, the New York Mets are now 47-39. That is still the best record in the National League East, as they've won 6 of their last 10 games. They now sit 4 games ahead of the Atlanta Braves in their division, as they are holding on to the 3rd seed in the National League at the moment. With this win and loss, the Pittsburgh Pirates are now 33-56. That is the worst record in the National League Central and the second worst record in the National League. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games, as they now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 19 games in the division. Jumping out to Boston, the Boston Red Sox hosted the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies were able to pull off an 11-2 road win against the Red Sox after scoring 8 runs in the 8th inning. For the Boston Red Sox, the start and the loss was given to Martin Perez. Perez would allow 3 earned runs in 3.2 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With his loss, he's 7-5 on the season. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Alex Verdugo, will go 2 for 4. For the Philadelphia Phillies, the start was given to Matt Moore. Matt Moore would go on to allow 2 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out a batter. The win went to the Philadelphia Phillies' second relief pitcher, Bailey Falter. Falter would allow no earned runs in 2 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With his win, Falter is 1-0 on the year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Gene Segura, will go 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs as Segura hit his 4th home run of the season. Their designated hitter, JT Realmuto, would go 2 for 5. Their elite right fielder, Bryce Harper, would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. Their third baseman, Alec Bohm, would go 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run for himself as he hit his 6th home run of the season. And then their shortstop, Ronald Torreyes, will go 3 for 5 with an RBI and a run on the day. With this win, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 43-44. That is currently the third best record in the National League East, as they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 4.5 games in the division. With this loss, the Boston Red Sox are now 55-35. That is still the best record in the American League East and the best record in the American League, for that matter, as they've lost 4 of their last 10 games. They now sit a game and a half ahead of the second-place Tampa Bay Rays, to give a sense of where the Red Sox sit right now. And then jumping out to Miami, the Miami Marlins hosted the Atlanta Braves. The Braves were able to beat the Marlins 5-4 on the road. For the Marlins, the start and the loss was given to Trevor Rogers. Rogers would allow 3 runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 4. With this loss, Rogers is 7-6. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Jazz Chisholm Jr., would go 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run. He does 11th home run of the season. Their right fielder, Garrett Cooper, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And then their left fielder, Adam Duvall, would go 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs. For the Atlanta Braves, the start and the win went to Max Fried. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 5. With this win, Max Fried is 6-5 on the year, and the save will go to Will Smith. He allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter as he picked up his 18th save of the season. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, reigning National League MVP Freddie Freeman, would go 1 for 4 with 3 RBIs and a run. He hit his 19th home run of the season. And then their shortstop, Dansby Swanson, would go 2 for 4 with an RBI. With this win, the Atlanta Braves are now 44-44. That is the second best record in the National League East, as they've won their last 3 games and 7 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 4 games in the division. With this loss, the Miami Marlins are now 38-50. That is the worst record in the National League East and the third worst record in the National League. They've lost their last 3 games, and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now trail the New York Mets by 10 games in the division. Jumping out to Cleveland, the Cleveland Indians hosted the Kansas City Royals and were able to pull off a 14-6 win at home, as their first 3 innings were completely scoreless, and they scored all 14 of their runs over the next 5 innings. For the Kansas City Royals, the start and the loss went to Mike Minor. He allowed 6 earned runs in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 2. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Andrew Benintendi, would go 3 for 5 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. Benintendi hit his 10th home run of the season, as he was the only player on the Royals with more than 1 hit. Their elite catcher, Salvador Perez, would go 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs and a run as he hit his 21st home run of the season. For the Cleveland Indians, the start and the win went to Cal Quantrill, as he allowed 3 earned runs in 6 innings pitched. He went on to only strike out 1 batter on the day. With this win, he's 1-2 on the season. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Cesar Hernandez, went 2 for 5 with 3 RBIs and a run. He would hit his 15th home run of the season. Their elite third baseman, Jose Ramirez, went 2 for 4 with an RBI and 3 runs. He hit his 19th home run of the season yesterday. Their designated hitter, Franmil Reyes, would go 2 for 5. Their right fielder, Harold Ramirez, would go 3 for 4 with 2 runs. Their catcher on the day, Roberto Perez, would end up going 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 5th home run of the season. And then last but not least, their left fielder, Oscar Mercado, would end up going 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 5th home run of the season yesterday. With this win, the Cleveland Indians are now 45-42. That is the second best record in the American League Central. They've won their last 3 games, and they've won 3 of their last 10. They now trail the Chicago White Sox by 7.5 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 4 games for the second wildcard spot at the moment. Jumping out to Chicago, the Chicago Cubs hosted the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals were able to pull off a 6-0 road shutout win as they scored 5 of their runs in the 5th inning. For the Chicago Cubs, the start and the loss went to Zach Davies. He allowed 3 earned runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, he's 5-6 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite shortstop, Javier Baez, would go 2 for 3 on the day. He was the only player on the Cubs with more than 1 hit. For the St. Louis Cardinals, the start and the win went to Kwang Hyun Kim. He allowed no earned runs in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With his win, he's 4-5 on the year. In their batting lineup, their elite first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt, will go 2 for 3 with an RBI and 2 runs. He hit his 13th home run of the season yesterday. Their center fielder, Harrison Bader, would go 2 for 4 with a run. And then their shortstop, Paul DeJong, would go 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run. With this win, the St. Louis Cardinals are now 44-46. That is the 4th best record in the National League Central. Well, I guess the Cardinals and the Cubs are both 44-46. As They are both tied for the third best record in the NL Central. The Cardinals have won 5 of their last 10. The Cubs have lost 8 of their last 10. And they both sit 8.5 games behind the Milwaukee Brewers in the division right now. Jumping out to Houston, the Houston Astros hosted the New York Yankees, and in this matchup, only 1 run was scored in the third inning by Aaron Judge, and the Yankees were able to pull away with a 1-0 win. For the Houston Astros, the start and the loss went to former American League Cy Young winner Zach Greinke. He allowed 1 earned run in 4 innings pitched as he struck out 3. With this loss, Greinke is 8-3 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would register more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great pitching from Garrett Cole. Garrett Cole was the only player that pitched for the Yankees yesterday. He allowed no earned runs and only 3 hits and struck out 12 in 9 innings. With this win, he's 9-4 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the Yankees would register more than 1 hit, but their elite right fielder Aaron Judge would go 1 for 4 with an RBI and a run. With this win, the New York Yankees are now 46-42. That is the third best record in the American League East. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the Boston Red Sox by 8 games in the division, and they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 3.5 games for the second American League wildcard spot. With this loss, the Houston Astros are now 54-36. That is still the best record in the American League West, as they've lost their last 3 and they've lost 4 of their last 10. They are holding on to the 3rd seed in the American League as of right now. Jumping out to Milwaukee, the Milwaukee Brewers hosted the Cincinnati Reds, and the Reds were able to beat the Brewers 4-3 thanks to a go-ahead home run from Eugenio Suarez in the 9th inning. For the Milwaukee Brewers, the start was given to Freddie Peralta. He allowed 3 earned runs in 5 innings pitched as he struck out 6. The loss was given to the Milwaukee Brewers' elite closer, Josh Hader. He allowed 1 earned run in 1 inning pitched as he was able to strike out 2 batters on the day. With this loss, Hader is 3-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite left fielder, Christian Yelich, would go 2 for 3. Their shortstop on the day, Omar Narvaez, would end up going 2 for 3 as well. Their right fielder, Avi Garcia, would end up going 2 for 3 with an RBI for himself. For the Cincinnati Reds, the start was given to Vladimir Gutierrez. Gutierrez allowed 1 earned run in 6 innings pitched. And the win was given to the Reds' third relief pitcher on the day, Josh Osich. Osich allowed no earned runs in .1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. With this win, he's 2-0 on the season. The win went to Heath Hembree, the Reds' closer, as he allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch, striking out a batter. With this win, Heath Hembree now has 6 saves on the year. In their batting lineup, their left fielder, Adam Winker, would end up going 2 for 4 with a run. With this win, the Cincinnati Reds are now 47-42. That is the second best record in the National League Central. They've won their last 2 games, and they've won 8 of their last 10. They now trail the Milwaukee Brewers by 5 games in the division, and they are currently trailing the San Diego Padres by 4.5 games for the second National League wildcard spot, as the Reds are the first team on the outside looking in. With this loss, the Milwaukee Brewers are now 53-38. That is the best record in the National League Central, as they've lost their last 2 games and they've lost 5 of their last 10. They now sit 5 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds, as they are currently holding on to the second seed in the National League at the moment. Jumping out to Los Angeles, the defending World Series champs hosted the Arizona Diamondbacks and were able to pull up a 22-1 win. They scored 5 in the first, 4 in the second, so they were up 9-0 after 2. And then the third through 6th inning, they were scoreless, and then they scored 7 in the 7th inning and 6 in the 8th. They scored 22 runs in 4 different innings. They had as many innings scoring as they did innings that they didn't, and they still finished with 22 runs. For the Arizona Diamondbacks in this matchup, the start and the loss was given to Caleb Smith. He allowed 9 runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. With his loss, he's 2-6 on the season. In their batting lineup, nobody on the team would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great pitching from the Dodgers. But their pinch hitter, Andrew Young, would end up going 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run. He hit his 5th home run of the season. For the Los Angeles Dodgers, the start and the win went to their elite young starting pitcher, Walker Buehler. He allowed no earned runs in only 3 hits in 6 innings pitched as he struck out 7. With this win, he's now 9-1 on the season. In their batting lineup, their elite right fielder Mookie Betts would end up going 2 for 3 with 4 RBIs and 4 runs on the season. He hit his 12th home run of the year. Their third baseman, Justin Turner, would go 3 for 4 with 4 RBIs and a run on the day, as Justin Turner would end up having a pretty good day for himself. He hit his 15th home run of the season. Their future Hall of Fame first baseman, Albert Pujols, would go 3 for 6 with 3 RBIs and 2 runs. He hit his 12th and 13th home runs of the season yesterday. Their left fielder, A.J. Pollock, would go 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs, as A.J. Pollock would end up hitting his 11th and 12th home runs of the season. And then their pinch-hitting right fielder, Matt Beatty, would go 2 for 2 with 2 runs. With this win, the Los Angeles Dodgers are now 55-35. That is the second best record in the National League West. They have now won 6 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 2 games in the division, and they are now holding the top seed in the National League wild card as they sit 3 games ahead of the second-place San Diego Padres in that race. With this loss, the Arizona Diamondbacks are now 26-65. That is the worst record in the National League West, the worst record in the National League, and the worst record in all of baseball. They've lost 6 of their last 10 games as they now trail the San Francisco Giants by 31.5 games in the division. Jumping out to San Diego, the San Diego Padres hosted the Colorado Rockies, and the Rockies were able to beat the Padres 3-0. For the Padres in this matchup, the start and the loss went to Joe Musgrove. He allowed 2 runs in 4.1 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he's 5-7 on the year, and in their first baseman, Eric Hosmer, would go 2 for 3, and then their catcher, Victor Caratini, would go 2 for 3 as well. For the Colorado Rockies, the start and the win went to German Marquez. Marquez allowed no earned runs and only 3 hits in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 9. With his win, German Marquez is 8-6 on the season as the save went to their closer, Daniel Bard. He allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he picked up his 13th save of the year. In their batting lineup, their second baseman, Garrett Hampson, would end up going 2 for 5. And then their shortstop for the day, Chris Owings, would end up going 2 for 4. With this win, the Colorado Rockies are now 39-51. That is the 4th best record in the National League West as they have now won 6 of their last 10 games. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 18 games in the division. With this loss, the San Diego Padres are now 53-39. That is the 3rd best record in the NL West as they've lost 6 of their last 10. They now trail the San Francisco Giants by 5 games in the division. They are currently holding on to the 2nd spot in the National League wild card. They now trail the LA Dodgers by 3 games for the first spot, and they sit 4.5 games ahead of the Cincinnati Reds, who are the very first team on the outside looking in. Last but not least, jumping out to Seattle, the Seattle Mariners hosted the LA Angels, and the Mariners were able to pull off a 2-0 win at home, keeping the Angels to only 3 hits all day. For the Angels, the start and the loss went to Patrick Sandoval. Sandoval would allow 2 earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he struck out 6. With this loss, he's 2-3 on the year. And nobody in their batting lineup would finish with more than 1 hit, and a lot of that can be attributed to great Seattle pitching. For the Mariners, the start and the win went to Chris Flexen. He allowed no earned runs in 7 innings pitched as he only allowed 3 hits on the day, striking out 6. With this win, Chris Flexen is now 8-3 on the year. The save would end up going to their closer, Paul Sewald. Sewald allowed no earned runs in 1 inning pitch as he struck out a batter. With his save, Sewald now is 2 on the year. In their batting lineup, the only player with more than 1 hit was the Seattle Mariners designated hitter, Luis Torrens. Torrens he went 2 for 3 with an RBI for the day, the only player in the game who had more than 1 hit. With this win, the Seattle Mariners are now 48-42. That is the 3rd best record in the American League West. They have won their last 3 games, and they've won 7 of their last 10. They now trail the Houston Astros by 6 games in the division, and they are currently the first team on the outside looking into the American wild card race as they now trail the Oakland Athletics by 2.5 games in the wild card. So that's what baseball is looking like as we transition to soccer. Looking at what's going on in the Copa America. The Copa America final took place yesterday, and Argentina was able to skate past Brazil to win their first international title in a long while since before Messi started playing professionally. Their only goal would come from their elite forward, Angel Di Maria, who plays for PSG. And with this, it was a very big moment for all of Argentina, and especially for Lionel Messi, the player that's won virtually everything at the club level. he was able to do so with a very good Argentina team this year. And looking forward to what's going on today. Today we'll host the final of the Euro 2020 tournament as Italy will face off against England for just to see who's going to win this tournament. Of course, it's been a second since both of these teams have won. So it'll be a very big win for both, considering Italy has gone about 33, 34 matches without getting beaten. And England has been playing incredibly strong. And once this matchup is done, I will come back tomorrow with that. But with that said, that is everything that is going on that happened from yesterday, Saturday, July 10th, as we transition into today, Sunday, July 11th. I want to thank ESPN, the NBA, the MLB websites, of course, for giving me the stats and figures that I needed to do this episode. And of course, I want to thank everyone for listening to all 30 minutes of this piece. I hope all is well. And once all of today's matchups and exhibitions are over, I will come back with another episode of the Daily Elite. Until then, thanks once again. I hope all is well and peace out. I'll catch you tomorrow.